Game cannot be encapsulated by one stat. He is the second greatest VT player ever, and one of the 5 best players to ever play the game. So when I hear somebody say that Retrobot is better than Sility, I laugh, because I know that anybody who watched Sility in his prime wouldn't think that. Alright, I'm done with this copy pasta. I assume we're starting now. Alright, we're starting up. Olimar versus Joker. This is a very, very interesting matchup. This is a lot of fun because Joker loves to, run in. He can duck under a lot of stuff. He's very much a dash-in character in a lot of scenarios. And, of course, he has that Rebel's Guard. You can gain a lot off of that if you get a Pikmin stuck to you and you get a free moment. But at the same time, Olimar can run out. He can poke you from afar, which is very, very good, especially with dealing with Arson. He can also kill you off of a lot. He can kill you off of stray aerials. He can kill you off of smash attack setups. He can kill you off of grabs. So this is going to be very interesting. I'm very interested to see how both these players adapt to this. I'm definitely expecting Power Up is going to take a little bit to try to adapt to asddast's defensive game here. And as we saw there, Arson kind of came and went. Nothing really major happening with the Arson because asdast was very good, just getting in the pokes when he could and floating in and out when he had to. The DI there. All right. Ooh, very, very crucial spot dodge up smash. Exactly what we need. We do need our Incineroar back. We need to see Baboon get here. Joker's popping on up. This is very interesting because Joker is going to need to rely on some pretty crafty setups or reads if he wants to get rid of Olimar's stock right now. Elsewise, he's going to have to build up a lot more percent or just wait for the Arson to come out, which obviously is not preferable. Hello, JP. Oops, I wasn't paying attention. Thank you, JP. Bear does exist. I just, you know. asddast is doing a very, very good job at maneuvering around this Arson Joker. Floats in and out. He's making the most use of this stage's parameters. However, Power Up does manage to find that back air. Of course, going to obliterate Olimar. 140 with Arson out. Are you kidding me? Sility is not a student at the moment. We would have welcomed you. We would have welcomed you, Sility. I mean, I can't make statements. So, don't trust what I say. Power Up is very quickly kind of equalizing this with a lot of E-hop pressure. He's rushing in a lot more. I'm liking the adaptations that he's made so far this stock. You can tell he's already a lot more comfortable against asdast going into the second stock. Really good bear just through the platform. Now we are very close to seeing Arson come out. Arson could make a huge difference here because if Arson comes out, kills asdast early, that's a huge momentum swing. But if asdast is able to live another Arson period, then that bodes very, very well for asdast's future here. We got confirmation from JP. Now, asdast does swoop under the dare, but he goes too deep under the stage, does pineapple himself with that recovery. And Power Up still has a fair bit of Arson to work with. Of course, the Pikmin is going to sap that a little quickly. Oh, that whistle parry up smash. Very, very interesting. That being said, Power Up has landed a lot of extra credit so far. asdast definitely does have a pretty good setup right here, but it looks like Power Up knows exactly what asdast is going to want to go for with that blue, with that purple, and he's taken to gun camping those top platforms, at least for the time being. Very good choice. You do not need to approach Olimar right now. You're solidly in the lead, and the platforms, there's not that much Olimar can do that isn't telegraphed. Now with FD coming out, he's got to play a little bit more proactive. Still doing a lot of that upper gun camping, but this time there's not as many platforms to land on, so you have to be a bit more careful about where you're doing it, where you're going to land, etc. These side platforms are interesting. They'll give both players a lot of opportunities to get earlier kills off the top, of course, as well as the bears. He's still got the balloon, even while in this incredibly tense scenario against asdast. That is the type of will to win Smash Brothers that you need to see. This is looking pretty rough for asdast. Now, if he can take this stock, get some low percent, up smash combos or something, then it could be a different story. But yeah, just runs up, get that up smash before asdast can throw anything out to cover himself. That was an amazing swing from Power Up, being down so far early on in that match into just dominating the rest of it. I definitely don't expect to see either of these players switch during this set. If asddast has trained up any secondaries recently, I haven't heard about it, and there's no reason for Power Up to need to switch. So we're going right back in, running it back. I did not see the stage that they picked. Let's see here. All right, we're running to Smashville. This should be interesting. It definitely gives Joker a lot less space to camp, and I definitely think that was a major factor in that last match. Just getting the lead and not letting Olimar approach whatsoever. Now, asddast is coming back in. He doesn't seem to be too shook. He's taken a lot of percent early on. Oh, very early Gimp on that Arson. Now, one big thing about Joker with Arson, his recovery, not as good as regular Joker. There's a lot more that you can do to intercept it. There's a lot less that Joker can do to mix it up in terms of coming back up. So if you can throw those hitboxes out there, catch the Joker player by surprise, you can get a really early stock. Yes, the balloon thing is absolutely necessary. It's very important for any Joker player, but especially the way Power Up plays, popping every balloon that comes up is just almost a necessity. As you can see right there, it's coming up every single time. Now, asddast now lapping Power Up in percents, as well as taking out that Arson very quickly. I'm liking the adjustments he's made this game. Hello and welcome. Right here to my right, we have the one, the only, Flightless, here to commentate.
Not quite.
It's not quite Flightless. Sorry, I'm a little bit face blind. Stock doesn't matter if you don't get the balloon for real. For real.
Carl kind of let himself get hit by those pick and throws. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, he's playing a little shakier this match. I'm not sure if it's just because he won that first match and he wasn't sure where to go.
Clutch
I do like
Arsene.
that bear come out right at the perfect time. I believe that Sility and Oliver
Smashville moment? Smashville moment?
Ooh, ooh, ooh. Yeah, this could be a very early kill. Okay, okay. Very good. Just weave it back in. He isn't able to quite seal that kill at the ledge, but that's okay. asddast just needed to make it back, and then nails him with that forward smash.
A little greedy with that up smash.
So far, definitely been a much more asddast favored game throughout, but we've seen Power Up can just make the adjustments and then just...
Dang, he got full Arson. Not worth it. But he did take a lot of damage while doing it, so...
Yeah, it's very interesting the way that it works in this matchup. Just the way that you can Rebels guard a Pikmin if it's latched onto you or anything, and it just gives so much. Yeah, again, asddast has to always be very, very careful if he's trying to recover here. That bear will just absolutely decimate your stocks. Very good parry, though. He's playing very, very, very well against Arson.
He's playing really well right now.
And it's especially interesting to see how well he's keeping up this defensive game against Arson on a much smaller stage.
I like the attempt on the downer there.
Absolutely. asddast is very, very committed to going for a lot of those options, and usually, even if it doesn't hit, he won't get punished for them, and he's putting it out there. All right, we do have Arson. Power Up's got a last lease on life. If he can make the most of this Arson, that's his best chance at keeping this game back.
I'm not going to kill across the stage.
Yeah, that'll be an untechable.
Yeah, that'll be an untechable for sure.
Now,
Arsene is almost gone, so this is going to be a tough comeback.
For sure, for sure. Now, if he can get another Pikmin latched onto him, get some Rebels guard going, and get an Arson around maybe 170, I could definitely see a comeback right there. But that'll require asddast not just decimating his stock with that. Yep. He had that purple. That's all you need. Purple and blue, baby. All right, we're going 1-1 here. I have forgotten to update the score once more, but that's okay. It should be updated now. Understandable. All right. We had a very, very brief guest appearance by Isaac. Thank you for coming through, for gracing the commentary scene. I love commentating. It's really fun up here on this hot mic. All right, we're going back into a game 3. Again, I don't expect to see either of these players even really consider switching. We're going to Fountain of Dreams. The stage, I've not seen that much of. Of all the stages that we currently have legal, I've certainly seen the least of this stage. At least in Ultimate, of course. I'm used to it in Melee. But Ooh, really, really good opening up for asddast, just managing to exploit all of what Power Up's going for here. I really, really like the way that asddast is calling out Power Up's options increasingly as we go into this set. He's using that whistle very good. He's mixing up his DI very, very well on those throws, and he is calling out those jumps against the Joker. asddast has a really, really, really good sense of adaptation in this match, and it's really, really starting to pay off. He already having Arson at 18%. That's a bit of a double-edged sword as well, because yes, you can take Olimar's stock incredibly early, but you also lose out on that Arson opportunity later on in your stock. So it is very interesting to see the way that getting Arson early can definitely change the gameplay entirely. That being said, after that strong opening from asddast, we're basically entirely equal at this point. Maybe a bit favored in power-up's favor, but just an absolute slobber knocker. This has been a very aggressive match. Barely a minute has passed. Both players at about 50% on their second stocks. Not necessarily something you expect out of a matchup like Joker Olimar, but asddast definitely a very aggressive Olimar, and we've seen Power Up likes to go in and get some hits too, so. I'm liking that, if I'm noticing correctly, I believe asddast is using the whistle a lot more once Power Up is going back to try to use the Rebel's Guard, and that just takes away some of the opportunities to get extra Arson meter. Just a nice way to rack on a little bit of extra damage, whistle, get the Pikmin back, and booyah. You don't give Power Up as much leverage. He's using all of his tools incredibly well, using those purple Pikmin to just create a massive wall that Power Up cannot get past right now. I would be interested to see Power Up using the down B to reflect the Pikmin a little bit more, maybe. I think that could make a huge difference, especially in these cases where he's got the Arson, but asddast is just camping him out, keeping his distance, and not allowing him to approach. All right, we got a very good return onto stage by Power Up. He takes it high, he uses his air dodge, he just doesn't want any of that. But asddast is able to call that out now. He is at a decently high percent. So far, I would say that the momentum of this match has been very asddast's favorite, because even though asddast has taken a lot of this damage, he has not been giving the Arson any room. He has not given him a single inch, and it's hard to take a mile if you don't have that. So we're seeing a lot of damage getting racked up, and we're not seeing a lot of Arson coming out. There we go. He's using the down B a little bit more, reflecting those Pikmin off. Ooh, I really like that. Instead of trying to go in and get the jab lock, he latches on that white Pikmin just for some extra, massive damage from the white Pikmin latching on. That's a really interesting choice. And it looks like a very unfortunate flub from Power Up there on the recovery. So, after taking that game 1, asddast has taken game 2 and 3 relatively dominantly. I'll be interested to see if Power Up can make the adjustments necessary. I definitely think if he can figure out how to get past that defensive wall Olimar has while he's got the Arson out, that'll be the key to winning this matchup. asddast is ass blasting this man. That's so true, Kev. I couldn't agree more, question mark. I probably could agree more, but, you know. Same old, same old. Here we go. Running it in. Now this is going to be a very similar stage to Fountain of Dreams, of course, without one of the platforms going up and down. Joker's got those platform setups, so I'm sure that this stage maybe is a little more preferable for him. Regardless, though, I don't think that the stage choice mattered too much in that past game comparatively. asddast was making great use of the smaller stage and just keeping Arson out regardless. He's getting a little more creative here. He's got asddast in that disadvantage. He's making full use of the Arson. Yeah, calls that out. Hard calls that out. And completely obliterates asdast's first stock there. That could be a huge thing, especially if Power Up, if my hypothesis is right. He looks like a very momentum-based player. If he's the type of player who really just needs to kind of have that opening before he can go fully on in, that could be exactly what he needs, that hard call out on the up smash. Now it looks like Power Up is not that concerned with getting that white Pikmin off of him. Makes sense at about 140. All of Olimar's kill options are going to kill you regardless, so it doesn't really matter if you're taking a little extra damage. You just want to make the most of what you have left. And it looks like asddast is scrambling a little bit to get this kill. He was going for the offstage. He was going for the grab, but he just didn't manage to land anything that would actually net him that kill. And it's very interesting to see the tables turn here and see that now that Power Up is in the lead, he's the one managing to keep asddast out, and asddast is having a very hard time approaching. That manages to kill. Looks like a very, very interesting interaction there. Oh, instantly using those purple Pikmin to knock him down, get a little extra red damage as well. The Arson is immediately coming out. So it's looking pretty good for Power Up right now if asddast can't get his usual wall of Pikmin set up. That being said, looking pretty good. asddast is returning to his game plan. He's got those 2 purple Pikmin, always going to be an asset for any Olimar player. Almost no scenario where you don't want those 2 purples. But he is going to launch and give him Arson again immediately. Very interesting choice by asddast. I'm not sure if he was just expecting a different option or if maybe he considered the extra damage worth it because he is playing so well against the Arson anyway. Asddast jumping a little bit too early into that, it's not called a yeehaw when it's the Arson, but I'm not sure what it's called. That is blue, so that will be tying it right back up, and we are at a final stock scenario. asddast definitely wants to pull this out. Obviously, he was on commentary like 10 minutes ago talking about how hungry he is. Now he just wants to go home. So asddast would love this not to have to go to Game 5, I'm sure. And that's not just because, you know, he's playing against a powerful player who's getting better the more he gets to adapt. Oh, really good grab. That was a really interesting usage of those 2 Pikmin as well. Again, I think that asddast's knowledge about the Pikmin and the way that their mechanics work in really kind of obscure ways is helping him a lot in this matchup. But he does miss that crucial tech, which is going to bring this to a Game 5. Very well played by Power Up there, just not letting the pressure up while asddast was off stage. Now, I am interested to see. I'm trying to remember where asddast has taken games. Fountain of Dreams and Smashville you won on. Yeah. So Fountain of Dreams and Smashville can't take him back because we do have full DSR in place. I forgot to update the scores again, which is just making this even tenser because we are now at a 2-2. Looks like they're debating on which stage to go to. Going to Northern Cave. We actually have 7 stages, but yes, we do run full DSR. We run FD, Small Battlefield, Town and City, Smashville, Fountain of Dreams, and Northern Cave. All right, we're heading into this final game. Northern Cave is going to be interesting. I'm sure this wasn't necessarily asddast's first choice, but again, with the DSR, it does make things a lot different. And this will be interesting because he can definitely make use of this flat ground here. He can make use of those platforms, but also, Power Up is going to be able to get early kills with Bear if he's able to go out there and just intercept asddast's recovery. So far in the start, we're seeing Power Up weaving in and out, just trying to get those hits. asddast is playing a little more aggressive here at the start against this, base Joker. Also a very good weight on that shield. He's doing a lot different in this match, and it's all seeming to work out for him. He's got about a 60% lead, and he catches that hanging on the ledge just a little too long, sniping it with that down smash. That's massive for Power Up, getting this lead early on. That's going to mean he can make a lot more use of Arson, because asddast isn't going to want to camp as much, and of course, that means he can do his own camping if he really needs to. Now, this stage doesn't necessarily allow for that as much as some other stages, but it's still going to present a new option for him. Calling out that up B, just waiting for it and then getting that bear, and that'll kill early. All right, Power Up has a massive lead in this Game 5. He's really kind of steamrolling here. We'll see if asddast can make adjustments, maybe call out some of Power Up's habits and manage to make this a little more even. But it's looking very good. He does manage to nail that first stock, getting that purple Pikmin. But this is going to take a lot of adaptation on asddast's part, as well as playing very differently, because he can't rely on those same tricks that he's been using at this much of a deficit. He has to play a lot more aggressive. He has to play a lot less campy against Arson, but he also can't give up any ground against the Arson, which means he's going to have to weave in and out. He's going to have to be playing at his best, both offensively and defensively, and he cannot rely on any one aspect of his play to bring him forward. Now, I am expecting Power Up wants to end this sooner rather than later, make sure asddast doesn't have that time to adapt, and so he's going to be going in, he's going to be trying to get that kill. That may prove an opportunity for asddast if he can make use of Power Up going in too close. That may be his best challenge. However, right now it looks like Power Up is content to stand here, go for that tried and true ledge trapping, and just get Olimar dead as early as possible with this Arson. asddast mixing up his recovery options just enough to where Power Up isn't quite able to snipe him with those aerials, which at this point wouldn't even be an early kill. At this point, a lot of hits, even from base Joker, are going to be able to kill asddast. That bear might just be one, and that is it. Power Up takes Winners Finals and solidifies his place. Winners side Grands. That was a 5-game set, a lot of adaptation, a lot of improvement between those two players with